Good job, everyone. We have a very deep practice of waking up our inner children, so we sing a lot of children's songs, even when there are no children here. Because we all have a child within us. One last song. Let's do in, out, deep, slow. Calm, ease, smile, release, present moment, wonderful moment. It's a song, but it's a guided meditation also. So it's a really helpful song to learn, because then anytime you want to meditate, you already have a guided meditation in your mind. And we'll sing it twice. Oh, Sarah, do you want to come help me sing it? Okay. Is that okay? In, out, deep, slow, calm, ease, smile, release, present moment, wonderful moment. In, out, deep, slow, calm, ease, smile, release, present moment, wonderful moment. Yeah. Perhaps it's time to invite everyone to stand to welcome our teacher with the sound of the bell.
Testing, testing. Can you hear me well? Testing. Can you hear me well? Today is August the 2nd, the year 2015. Can you hear me well? Testing, testing. Can you hear me well? Today is August the 2nd, the year 2015. Sound better? You can hear the wind, huh? Okay, how much time do we have until a little bit before 11? Yeah? Just enjoy your breathing. So, dear Thầy, dear Sangha, today is Sunday, August the 2nd, the year 2015, and we in the meditation hall, Great Togetherness at Blue Cliff Monastery. And normally I'm supposed to give the Dharma talk next Sunday. But Sister Thang Im said that she's not prepared and she cooking today, so she asked to switch. So I'm giving a sharing a week earlier. I think we all not very prepared. I think this talk I call it, it's like taking refuge in the Sangha. And also, you can title it Degree of Freedom versus Harmony of the Sangha. I was blessed when I was taking some class in university for my business degree. We were taking some statistic class. And it's supposed to be very difficult because of the difficult formula. But the teacher who were teaching statistics to me are very kind, and he showed the basic concept that you don't need to use mathematics at all. And I promise I won't use mathematics. Last summer retreat, I was in a Dharma sharing with Professor of Statistics. So we share a little bit about and thing, and I was inspired, and I thought I listened to some Thầy talk, and I kind of combined it and turn statistics into the Dharma kind of thing. just explain, because statistics is like the science of behavioral pattern in the group, in the data populations. That's what they call. So you don't look at an individual, you look at the group in general and see how overall the group behave and how we hold the group together. So this is more that's the aim of the talk. So let me go to the board so we can easy. It's funny, the microphone, you don't hear the voice, but you hear the sound of the water drinking and the wind, everything. So dear Thầy friend, during last US tour, we got the chance to go to Google headquarters. And the Google people asked our teacher to give a talk. And the topics they asked Thầy, our teacher, to give is about the 3 I. It seems like nowadays internet, you have a tendency to put an I in front of everything. So the first thing interesting about it is inspiration. The second for them is insight. And the third for them is innovation. So Google has a lot of competition. So they want to come up to a better idea, something new all the time. So they have to keep motivating to become number one. So they have to be ahead of the competitor. And so the thing is, you couldn't keep up with things, so you have to have some kind of inspiration or some time motivation. And also in the monastic Sangha, also aspiration. Like Brother Dave is think about becoming a monk, aspiration. So it's something that you can nourish yourself every day and find something new. And the inside, I'm not sure how Google defined it, but I think for Thay is have a right view. Some kind of intuitive knowledge, like sometimes the illustrated album called Light Bulb, Eureka, something new. And then the innovation is to put into practice. To put into fruition. So recently, we have a lot of departure from our Sangha. And there were various reasons, like we say goodbye to 4 Vietnamese monks who come back to Vietnam, and we just say goodbye to about, I think 6 of the 8 Vietnamese monastics who has come to Blue Cliff for the last 4 or 5 years, and there are 2 more left here, and I think in a few days they will come back. And also, our novice brother now also is about to leave the Sangha as well. So I thought about talking about the aspiration, motivation, and inspiration. So I remember Thay wrote a very nice circle. So the first circle had to do with the precepts. How we practice the mindfulness training, whether it's 5 mindfulness training, 10 mindfulness training of the novice, 14 mindfulness training, 250 mindfulness training, or you call the precepts from the monks, and 300 something, 14 for the nuns. And the second circle is the practice of the schedule. Follow the schedule. I remember Phap shared with me, he's my mentor. And at that time, I was about 3 years into novice or something. And he sit with a mentor-mentee and he share. And they say, the accomplishment I did for the last 14 years is to follow the schedule for 14 years. And it's something simple, but it's not easy, because we're not like robots, you know. Every day when we wake up, sometimes we don't feel well, sometimes we don't feel motivated, but then you kind of say, okay, for the sake of Sangha, we just come and think. And some of the lay friends, you can see when you come for the 1 week, you kind of like it, and you ask to stay for 3 weeks, you kind of like it. And then after about 3 months, you can, okay, I have some idea. Maybe I want to Hawaii because it's too cold here. I need a vacation. The Sangha doesn't let me go, kind of thing. So the thing is to keep consistent and to motivate yourself to generate joy and happiness in the regular duty of the Sangha, like walking in mindfulness, awareness of breathing, and enjoy being body and mind, and not get caught by our thinking all the time. So that is the schedule. And then we have offer retreat, or we have responsibility. So each monastic we assign two main responsibilities. So be it the meditation hall here, or you are a car manager, transportation manager, your trash recycling compost. And for me, it's become your house. It's not you only work during working hour. It's when something go wrong in meditation hall, that's your area of responsibility. So this is something that sometimes it kind of hinder our practice a little bit because we kind of worry, we kind of think, and it's normal, it's a human nature. And then another circle is organize a retreat or lead the retreat. Or give a Dharma talk like this one. Can you see it okay? So let me use a shortcut by using a board already. Because the board is smaller, so I have to use a smaller word. So that's the precept here, the scheduled practice, the responsibility, organized retreat, and also sometimes we go outside to give retreat. Or sometimes for fun, we go outing. And also this is all important. And let me show you, we have different members in the organization. And it can be any organization, local Sangha or Blue Cliff Sangha. So typically, when a novice comes, he or she would have something like that. Okay, you start to have precepts, right? But you have a lot of things outside. So you only take refuge in that kind. And you have a lot of activities around here, remnant from the habit energy in lay life. So you just barely get a little bit in the schedule of the precepts. And after a few years, sometimes we have some people who stay in the Sangha for long, but doesn't want to go out the retreat. So we have a person something to do like that. Okay, I practice the precepts, I do a little bit of schedule, I do responsibility, I help to organize a little bit, retreat. Sometimes I don't feel like that, so maybe a bit less. And I don't want to go out. So to me, when we take root in the Sangha, is really we need to kind of really entrench ourselves in the activity of Sangha. And it becomes like a second nature to follow the schedule, to be part of a retreat. And for example, I've been here at Blue Cliff Monastery for 8 years now, since the beginning. And I see a lot of benefit when we stay together and we practice. And we create a collective energy, and we help people transformation. And I can see a lot of people being transformed, and I'm very happy. I feel a lot of joy doing that. So that is one motivation. So let's say somebody who has been long enough. So that person really developed more. Maybe at the beginning it was just a tiny part, but then you add more life in the Sangha, contribution to the Sangha. For to me, the person who stay long and being happy in the Sangha is a person who contributes a lot to the Sangha. So you think that you put it and you get tired, you think, but actually if you know how to generate mindfulness, concentration, insight, then you receive as much as you give. So to use the phrase of John F. Kennedy, ask what you can give to the Sangha and not ask what the Sangha can give you. And there are some people also who stay long, but then slowly lose the motivation. So that person will go out and give a lot of retreat. And really can barely be in touch with the Sangha. So that person in the long run will not last in the Sangha. And over the last 13 years of being a monk, I see a lot of this. Because when you develop a life outside the Sangha, you motivate but do something else, and then you slowly lose your interest. But then also, a person can be a balanced person, can have a decent root in the Sangha, but also can develop activity outside the Sangha as well. So as long as it's been balanced, you stay rooted in the Sangha. For example, say you are a musician, you play guitar, like Sister Ocean. I think that's very good to just develop your ability to sing like Sister Chuval, for example, and you can contribute, you help the Sangha. You help outside retreat, you help organize retreat, you help other things. So to develop your talent is not disadvantageous. Even though you might feel tired because you have to do something extra. And whether you have a capacity, like for example, I took some statistics class, so I figured out, I would share before when I was a banker, and what's the comparison between a good banker versus a good monk. So you have some insight about, because you are in that profession. So you can develop your talent into that kind of thing. So to me, this is a very good image to see where each individual in the community work with and how you stay motivated. Because the more activity you develop more outside, especially when you don't entrench into that. And for the community also is to create more circle to encompass as many people. So sometime we went outing the other day, we went canoeing. And I remember about 2 months ago, we went bowling as a community. And I remember I have a picture, the Dharma teacher council in Magnolia in Mississippi, instead of having meeting, they decided to go picnic together. And that's something maybe Blue Cliff should do. Because sometimes when you think too much about the idea, your idea that I want to implement my idea kind of thing. So let me go to add another board. I hope I can finish in 1 hour. So you hear what we talk about the six harmony living in the Sangha. In Vietnamese, it's very easy. It's thân hòa đồng trú, giới hòa đồng tu, lợi hòa đồng hành, ngữ hòa đồng lạc, ý hòa đồng duyệt, trí hòa đồng giải. And so the first thing is the harmony of the bodies living together and practicing together. And this is important. The body means you have to be present here. You share with us the joy as well as the difficulty. So sometime in some winter retreat, we run out of electricity because the electricity line was down, and we were without water for about a week. So we have to deal with it. We just grab the snow, we put in a pot, and we boil them, and we use as water for drinking and eating. So the thing is, when you have activity outside the Sangha, as this is in the case, you kind of live apart from the Sangha. So your motivation, your care about the Sangha is not there. So the thing is, you need to stay with the Sangha and practice with the Sangha to really grow strong root in the Sangha here. And the other one is the harmony of practicing the same precepts. I mean, while we're practicing something, the other person practicing the same thing too. Of course, because we have a Hamlet for the monks and nuns, and they practice slightly different. But basically, it's all the basic same precepts. And we all practice the 5 mindfulness training, which is the base for all the precepts. With just more elaboration as about things. So nobody is exempt from practicing the precept, because if you don't practice the precept, then you don't care as much for activity of the Sangha. And the third one is harmony of acting together for the common benefit. And each person contributes to the Sangha according to his or her own talent or ability. I remember when the brother and sister from Vietnam came, they couldn't speak English. For the first few years, we have some English class for them. And they're very shy about coming out to share, whether it was a children program or to do a panel Q&A or something like that, or being a children program or teenage program. But then we have some class for them, and after 4 or 5 years, they develop ability, and by the time that they are here now, they can really converse with the lay friend, and there's no problem being in the panel Q&A. And we have a translator, so even if you share in Vietnamese, we can translate in English, that's no problem. The thing is, you contribute, and they were diligent in working in the kitchen, pot washing, and help with various duty, whether they're work coordinator or food shopper. Even though their English is limited, but they're willing to do a food shopper. They couldn't drive it, so the other brother and sister had to drive them to the store to buy the food. So the thing is, you have to think about the common benefit of the group, of the community. And you can contribute as much as possible according to your ability and your talent. And the fourth one is harmony of loving speech in order to bring happiness to the group. So you think about before you express something in front of a Sangha meeting or thing like that, because it has an influence. Say if there's something not to your liking and you complain it has influence toward a member of the group. And the fifth is a synthesis of the idea. You combine idea. So the word is a synthesis. Often you have an idea and you bring to the Sangha, hey, let's do this, let's do that. How about sitting 8 hours a day? I need that. And maybe other members of the Sangha say, well, I don't think it's a good idea. Maybe it's not the time yet. So, you know what, in the end, we combine the idea of different people and we come up to the common solution. I think recently, somebody said that let's do away with all the tuition for room and board in Blue Cliff Monastery. But I remember about 2 or 3 years ago, we have a very long meeting, almost like 9 months to a year, to try to figure out a common area between the hamlet of the nuns and the hamlet of the brother. And we bought the registration system. That's very complicated, and we try to put them together. And so we have to enter into database, computer, different thing. And of course, we can make exception if there are some people in needed. But you cannot scrap the whole system because it's very complicated. We're going to have another meeting that lasts another year before we do something. So the thing is, really, you have to think for the sake of the common benefit of the Sangha. And also have a harmony of right view with come up to collective insight. And each of us has to practice deeply. So deep inside us, there's something to come up with some original idea. But also that's practical. That is beneficial to the group. So at this point in time, I'd like to introduce some statistics to you. So like I say, the concept of statistics is not that difficult. It's the science that study the total behavior of the individual in the group, or in the word of statistics is a study of behavior of the data sample in the data population. But just let me give some sample. So we have what we call, and this term I didn't invent it, this is the statistics term, the degree of freedom. This is actually a statistic word. We have what we call the means, which is the middle. So in other words, when you study different sample, like that, according to the index vector, which I won't go into details, and then you try to see a common line that closest to the total group of population. So that would be a means. And the standard deviation here is how far the individual sample from the means. So let's say I give you an example. Let's say we say the means is the height of the member of the community. So let's say we call it the height is 5 foot 8 inches. Okay, so anybody under 5 foot 8 inches is below, and anybody higher is above. So let's say we set the standard deviation normal behavior is 4 inch. Okay, so So within the norm behavior is 6 foot 2 inches. And maybe by the man, maybe a little bit higher. I don't know, maybe. Baravu, something like that, you know. And then we set it a lower, the mean 4 inch below 5 feet 8 inches, which is 5 foot 4 inches. And I'm not sure, there may be some sister that is here, even outside, but most of the people are within the range of this standard deviation. But then let's say the community decide to restrict it, say, okay, from now on we change the standard deviation from 4 inch into 2 inch. And you can say, okay, I'm offer dark chocolate, but only I offer dark chocolate for individual who has within 2 inch standard deviation from the means. So then you kind of cut the population, the member who are over. So now you select only the individual that fall within that pattern, because this could be 2 inch. So you see what I'm driving at. Every season, the community meet and make decision about the schedule, about how many retreats we give per month, how many retreats we give a year, or how long we do sitting in the morning, how long we do sitting in the afternoon, and how much lazy day we have, how many lazy day we have, how many vacation we have after retreat and lazy day kind of thing. And it affects the community when you strict the standard of the deviation into that. So you tighten up. And the more you tighten up, then individual would start to say, okay, I need some space, so I need to do something outside, because that's too strict for me. So by setting the standard deviation, we can really influence how the happiness and the stress of the individual member in the group. And we are not born equally, okay? Some people are born with some difficulty in their childhood, family background, society background, things like that. So we all come with a certain wound, some certain negative mental formation, and we need the love, we need the compassion of the Sangha to transform ourselves and heal ourselves. So the idea is not to be too strict, but not to be too loose kind of thing. And if we do something, we do for the sake of the community. So for example, let's say I do another one that say, let's say the means for sitting meditation, which is, I think in the community we talk about it. Let's say the means for sitting meditation is 2 hours sitting per day. 1 hour in the morning we sit, and one hour in the afternoon we sit. And within the standard deviation also we have an hour to an hour and a half meeting or Dharma sharing, or sometimes class or Dharma teacher meeting or something like that. And we have about an hour and a half of eating meditation, because usually the first 30 minutes, usually we sit meditation in silence, and we sit and for 3 meals, so that's about it. So overall, we would have about maybe 5 to 6 hours of sitting. And then if for some reason, some individual we say we don't have enough sitting meditation, we want to sit some more. So we create a higher degree of standard deviation. So it will have 8 to 10 hours of sitting meditation. Like sometimes we complain because we have a monks meeting and also the Dharma teaching meeting in the same day. And that is too much for people to handle. And guess what? When we do such a thing, the individual and community start to retrench it. So most of the people who used to be somewhere here, and there are probably maybe one individual or two individuals who really like sitting 10 hours a day. But then most of the people now, we ended up being within this range. Because that's what's comfortable to them. So that means you push the individual too much, in a sense, to your idea. So to me, when I look at these things, and statistically, it helped me to see the whole pattern behavior of the whole group, regardless of who it is. I don't want to point out who are the person to do that. That doesn't matter. It's just how you influence a group. This is the most important. Now, there was another thing I really liked. They call standard curve or bell curve. When you study statistically the individual data into the data population, it usually had a tendency to shape into a bell curve according to your database and your vector, how you put the things together. And I remember of Thầy, when they talk about a lot, you have the left, like politically you have the left and the right. And the left couldn't stand the right, so this is the middle. So the left decide, okay, I want to get rid of the right. So we cut them and say, okay, this no more like this. Like a socialist revolution kind of thing. Okay, you cut the capitalist out, and this is right. And guess what? As soon as you cut it off, what they say, so you change the mean into a different thing, and now you have a right. And often when Thầy say that, I kind of wonder, how can it be possible? How can the right turn to the left? But in a sense, individually, we kind of make decisions unconsciously based on the group. And they're very funny because, let me use an example of this bell curve here. So let's say we have 36 people in our community. And most of the people will fall into the norm of behavior within the community. 28 of them. They're somewhere here. And this is very easy because normally they would have a vector. And they determine what the X chart and the Y chart here, and then the data will fall into that right pattern right there. So let's say, and this is we call degree of freedom or standard deviation from the means. And the means would be somewhere in the middle. So we always have sometimes four individuals that can fall into the pattern outside the degree of freedom. And maybe 4 persons fall outside the degree of freedom. Say the person couldn't wake up at 5 in the morning, could go sitting. Or the person like to go out a lot more to community or something like that. Because it fits the character. It doesn't think that. And we try to help out the thing like that. So let's say the 4 person leave. So now the 4 person no longer here, and then we change the curve, but the curve behavior transforms itself. So now instead of 36 people, we have 28 people, yes? And now we thought that we really get rid of the unwanted left and right. Sometimes I call it extremists. Or sometimes the cloud of community. I remember I have a brother in my ordination. I won't be named, but he always wanted to be mischievous. A little bit test the community. And he always doesn't want to follow the rules. He wants to break the rules a little bit, just to test it out. And when you study the sutra, you know that there was the 8 young monks and nuns, or whatever, 6 young nuns, and the rebel. And they are responsible for the formation of at least 100 precepts within a monastic code by breaking the code just to test it out, you know. So you cannot help it. There are always some people who want to be a class clown or something, to be something. I want my individuality. So there are certain expressions of individuality that are beneficial for the Sangha, but there are certain expressions of individuality that are not beneficial for the Sangha. You know that for Brother Phap, he was a music composer. So when he comes to the Sangha asked him to really help to revamp and rewrite a lot of songs. Just like Brother Michael used to write a lot of songs for chanting and so on. So he contributed his skill to the Sangha. But this is a sanction. This is not something he do on his own without the knowledge of the brother or the sister who encouraged him to do that. And Thay was very good in the sense that he see individual talents of people, and he encouraged to develop them for the helping of the Sangha. I remember Phap by the stream. He loved to play guitar, folk song, and there was a song they called Hotel California, and he changed into something Deer Park or something, I'm not sure exactly. And he make a lot of very interesting idea for the Sangha, and it's helped to benefit the whole community. So now we talk about, let's say, okay, the 4 extremists here are now left the Sangha. But guess what? Somehow now it come out within the degree freedom center formation, we have another 3 here. So our population of 28 people at the community, we have 22 that kind of behave like a norm kind of thing. And a little bit of 3% kind of want to express their individuality, their specialness. And I think it's okay. I mean it depends how much you do it. If you really have such a low root here, and you express your individuality so much outside, become big like that, then the weight of the balance kind of break it. So after a while, you don't feel any more benefit living in the Sangha. You don't feel benefit living in the community. So that's why it's very important, if you develop some kind of skill, some kind of interest, you always have to compensate by having rooted in the community, and that helped. And I was very fascinated by how the bell curve was working. And actually, when you study the individual data in the data population, it's come out exactly like that. And that explains a little bit why, at first I didn't understand why suddenly the behavior between the left and the right. You just cut this one, but then how come they just fight each other again? And this is true in the time of a crusader. I remember I would study the crusade, and the first 2 crusades is a Christian who protect the Holy Land from the non-Christian. the Muslim and so on. And it's a very big enterprise. A lot of country has to invest the thing. But then when I studied the third or the fourth crusade, when the Muslim was defeated and it became an internal struggle, the third and the fourth crusade, if you study them, actually it was the Christian, European Christian versus the Orthodox Christians. Based on Constantinople, Pope and were the follower, versus whether the Pope from Avignon or the Pope from Paris or from the Holy Roman Empire. So this is more or less the left fighting each other, and we all now we have an extremist on the left here and another extremist on the left here. So it's kind of very interesting of how individual behavior kind of influence the total behavior of the group. So to end the thing, I would like to summarize by the most we can do is in living in a group is really to generate the joy and happiness, energy of joy and happiness in the practice. Basically, the base is how much you enjoy walking meditation and how much you enjoy your conscious breathing. That is the base that can help you to generate the joy and happiness of practice. Regardless of what the behavior the other person was doing or how the community decide this and that. Basically, I trust the Sangha in community because sometimes we have some kind of imbalance. Actually, we kind of slowly reverse. We might not do right away, but actually we're going to reverse that. If something really wrong or something, we adjust ourselves to that. And the other one, to have appropriate attention by way of learn to look at positive things in life and to generate the energy, the power, sometimes we call the 5 power from inside. So you don't depend on other people for your own happiness. You are able to generate your own happiness. And that is very good because you have more confidence in the practice, regardless of how much wave of up and down difficulty. And also you can bring contribution to the Sangha based on your talent or your thing. And then the third one is to cleanse your lens of perceptions. So you have a better right view, and having a right view of how different negative mental formation and perception bring you suffering. And you can transform them and you can heal yourself. And this will take some time. And to me, when you actively do something, that's when you can see the pressure and the thing. For example, a lot of people say that I don't want to organize a retreat because it's very stressful. Because somebody outside the organization committee always wants something that, so why do I want to put myself under pressure? But then somebody in the community need to organize a retreat. And actually, when you organize a retreat, you encounter difficulty, you overcome it, you learn how to deal your body and mind in a stress situation. Because if you sit in a cave by yourself for 3 years and nothing happened because nobody come to bother you, and you think that you transform all your anger, your fear, and as soon as you drop you in New York City, within 1 hour, you fell apart because you couldn't deal with it. So people so mean to you, in New York City kind of thing. And then within the community, you need to develop your talent, your ability. And the role of the mentor or the Dharma teacher is to see the member community having talent, encourage them to slowly develop them. And some people has a chanting capacity. Some people has the capacity for give Dharma talk. I remember Phap, the Vietnamese monk, even though he doesn't speak English well, but he has a very good oratorial skill. He can really give a good Dharma talk. And you develop the skillful means that being present in the present situation, being sympathized and understanding of the other, so you can develop a means of communication that are skillful and you can come across to people. We call the lead the practice, to share in public. And also you open your heart for communication and relating with a member of the community. Often the person who suffers a lot is the person who is a loner. So maybe just attend briefly what the ceremony and go back to the room right away and do whatever thing outside the thing. So the more you do it, the more you lose your root in the Sangha. And slowly you don't have any more happiness being community. So the thing is to grow the spiritual root and to create a good spiritual past. You need to have a beautiful past together. And that's what I say, because when you create a wonderful moment, the present moment, that becomes your wonderful past. I remember Sister Đinh Nghiêm, who just left, she sent an email. She just arrived safely in Vietnam, and now she meets the Sangha so much because she has so many wonderful past memory with us, kind of thing. And also you create also the healthy memories. So I think to me that's the most important thing for the life in the community Sangha that help the monastic or the member of the community to stay motivated and have inspiration in the Sangha. So what I will try to attempt to use a little bit more statistical model to illustrate the point I was sharing to you. And hopefully it helped the inspiration, the motivation, so you can see the direction where you live and you contribute to the community. Thank you very much for your listening. Now listen to 3 sounds of the bell. So you can unfold your legs and massage your legs a little bit, and meanwhile we might have some announcement. I'm sure.